guys, I hope you're having a great day. If you've been keeping up to date with my videos, you will know that I got some hair installed. So basically, if you've been following me, you know that I got keratin bonded hair extensions. And the hair that I currently have in is from the company called Virgin Hair Obsession. And I had the 613 blonde and the bundle pack of 18, 20, and 22 inches of hair. So we got a lot of hair happening. It is fantastic. And so basically what this video is going to be on is I did do kind of a part one of FAQ about my knowledge of bonded hair extensions and just my experience with them. And so this is going to be like a follow-up in part two. And basically my tips on getting the best, having the best relationship with your bonded hair extensions that you could. That's the only way I can figure out how to say it. So the first kind of frequently asked question is, why would you get bonded hair extensions as opposed to other types of hair extensions? And my response to that is I have tried quite a few other hair extension types. I have had a weave, which I do not recommend. And I've also gone through lots of sets of clip-in extensions. Now the reason I chose the bonded extensions is because from my experience is that they are the least damaging type of extension when you take care of it and when you get somebody who knows what they're doing to put them in. Before I got them the first time, I had all these people telling me like, no, you're gonna regret it, it's gonna ruin your hair. And I went into it knowing full well that I was taking on a commitment. Bonded hair extensions are semi-permanent, and what that means is they are permanent, but they can be removed, and they aren't permanent for like years and years. They're permanent for like months until you take them out. So if you're looking for something that's like no commitment, you would be looking for something like clip-in hair extensions where you can basically take it in and out as you want. The keratin bonded hair extensions stay in your head for up to, I think it can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on how you take care of it, depending on how well they are in, depending on the quality of hair, depending on the quality of keratin that's used. It depends on a lot of things. So the reason I personally got bonded hair extensions is because I found that I do have a lot of hair. I have a ton of hair, literally like a boatload of hair. And I found that even though my hair is super thick, like I have a lot of it, per strand it's really thin. And first of all, weaves are a bad idea, especially if you have kind of thinner Caucasian hair. I know that many African American women do get weaves, and what I have to say about that is that their hair type is so much like sturdier and stronger, and it can hold up to that type of thing. And there are Caucasian women or Oriental women or anything like that that do have the hair types that can stand up to weaves. And another thing about weaves is that they are also a commitment. And unfortunately, I got a bad recommendation, and I got a recommendation to get a weave, and I got it from somebody who did a really bad job, and I got hair that was way too heavy for my head. So what ended up happening is I ended up losing a lot of hair of my own, and I ended up with a few kind of like lesions and scratches and stuff like that, and basically portions of my scalp that had lifted up just due to this person doing a bad job. And that's basically all I gotta say about that. So the reason I went bonded is because even though it is attached to your head, it is attached to your head in smaller portions. So it's more like a per strand fusion, and it's more like lighter, like the weight is evenly distributed, which is great for me because per strand my hair is not that strong. It's pretty darn weak just from years of bleaching and things like that. And so bonded really worked for me because it allowed my hair to grow, but it also allowed me to have the length and things like that. But the reason I also like the bonded is because I don't have to wash my hair as much. And that's really good for your hair, especially if you're trying to grow it out. Leaving it be and not using as much heat on it and things like that is really great for your hair. And that's something that has been facilitated for me by having the bonded hair extensions. So another question is, how long will they last? And like I said previously, it depends on numerous things. Mostly it depends on the quality of hair that you purchase. So if you buy really cheap, inexpensive hair, you are going to get maybe a month and a half out of it. the integrity of your hair totally dictates how long you can use it for. Like the Virgin Hair Obsession, it still feels soft. I've washed it probably about 3 times already, and it still feels soft, and it's still like super nice, and it hasn't been tangly, anything like that. Granted, I've only had it in for a short period of time, but I have had other hair extension brands that do tangle and knot right away, and they're just super a pain in the butt. Another thing that it can depend on is the quality of the installation. You need to have somebody who knows what they're doing, knows about placement, knows how close to the scalp that you need to put it, different things like that. You need to do your work. There are a lot of girls on Craigslist that know how to do it, and they advertise their services. Before you get one of those girls to put it in, just see if they have a Facebook page or Twitter or anything like that. If they make YouTube videos, if you can see their work, and you can kind of decide for yourself whether or not it's something you want to invest in. Because there are, even though it's Craigslist, there are a lot of talented girls out there doing hair extensions out of their house or out of a salon or anything like that that don't get the regular advertisement that some other ones do. All I can say is just look at their work before you go and do it, or if you know somebody who's gotten it done by them, just kind of grill them about it so you kind of get the 411 on what they're doing. And another thing that a lot of people don't think about is the quality of keratin that you use. Keratin crystals come in little beads, and you heat them up in a hot pot. It's just the way that I get mine done. There are pre-tipped keratin hair extensions, but the ones that I get, you buy the crystals separately and then you melt them down. So it's more of trial and error than anything, and you just need to make sure that the person who's doing your hair extensions and the keratin that they're using, they're familiar with, and they've had experience with it before, and they're just not trying it out for the first time on you, because it could either go well or not well, and then you're going to be disappointed with your hair extension experience. Another frequently asked question is, will the extensions damage your hair? And you know what? They could damage your hair, but that is totally your call. If you do not take care of your hair, if you don't take care of your hair extensions, if you treat them like crap, they will pull your hair out. And another thing that can eventually damage your hair is if the quality of hair that you purchase is bad. And I'll put a picture in here because my last hair extensions were so terrible. And I'll just insert a picture and show you exactly what can happen. And basically it can pull your hair out from the roots, and it can lead to breakage and things like that. But if you're gonna baby your hair, if you're gonna take care of it and put in the time that you need to, then the potential of you damaging your hair goes down tremendously. But you just need to do your homework and make sure you understand that this is an investment. It's not just like clip-ins. You can take them in and out. So just understand that with anything that you do, it can damage your hair. Anything that you do extension wise, but you can minimize the damage or even avoid the damage if you actually take care of your extensions and you understand that you'll have to baby them a little bit more than your regular hair. So another question is about styling. It's kind of regarding, can I use curling irons, flat irons, hair dryers, and stuff like that on my hair? The answer is yes, you can, but having said that, you have to be more careful. And the reason for that is that the extensions are fixed to your hair using heat. You heat up the keratin and they're attached that way. So basically, my advice as far as styling goes is style your little heart out, use a heat protectant, but just avoid the bonds. And they're close to your scalp, so in like the big picture of things, it's not that big of a deal. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you're flat ironing and things like that you don't melt the bonds. Worst case scenario, you take your flat iron, you melt one of the bonds. You can always roll it back on. If one of the bonds happens to slide out while you're styling just because you hit it with the flat iron or the curling iron or anything like that, all you have to do is take your 2 fingers and re-roll it. And all that does is it just wraps it back around the strands of hair and you're good to go. Another question is, what shampoos and conditioners can I use? Can I use the regular shampoos and conditioners that I already have, etc., etc.? So basically, the products that you want to use on your keratin bonded hair extensions, as far as shampoos and conditioner goes, the biggest recommendation I have is don't use a shampoo and conditioner that has a high oil content. And I'm talking like Moroccan oil, argan oil, different things like that. And the reason that is because especially if you get it on any of the bonds, they're going to get really gummy and it's going to feel like a rainforest back there. It's going to get super, like, all it feels is like humid and weird, and you'll have to wash your hair more often, and it's just like, it's not worth the trouble to go and use that. And also you do have to use a lot of products, so it's not really price friendly either. The best shampoos and conditioners that I have personally used with them is the AG makes a color saver shampoo and conditioner. They're sulfate free, so they're really good, and they don't leave a lot of residue behind, and they make everything super soft. Another is that it's relatively new. I think it's clear. Heidi Klum advertises it. It's a shampoo and conditioner line that's kind of more specifically formulated for the scalp. When you're shampooing with your hair extensions, the only thing you want to shampoo is right at the scalp. And what I like to do is grab the end of my hair extensions and hold them up while I shampoo my scalp, and then just let it run through with with water. That way, there's no shampoo touching the ends of my hair, so nothing's getting dried out. And then as far as conditioner goes, I take probably from about where I would take a ponytail down and do conditioner, and then I just let it sit. And then what I also do is take a little bit of conditioner and just do the front here, just over the top. I don't smush it in between the bonds. That can lead to slippage, so your hair extensions are going to slip out, and it also makes them really gummy and really hard to get it clean in there. And so the clear, and then also Garnier Fructis. They make a lot of different ones. Try and avoid the ones with avocado oil and really oily, like thick conditioners and shampoos and things like that. You do want to add moisture, but you don't want to add a weight, like heaviness with the oils, and you don't want to add a lot of just oil in general, because it's going to weigh your hair extensions down, and if it gets mixed in with the bonds, you're going to have to wash your hair a lot more often, and it's going to be really gross, and you're going to feel greasy and dirty, and it's just, ugh, yuck. Avoid it. You also want to use a good serum on the ends of your hair, and when I say serum, I mean serum, I don't mean oil. So please don't get that confused with something like Moroccan oil, which, I hate to break it to you, has a really, really high silicone content, and you're not really paying for any oil. They make a lot of good serums that have things like grapeseed oil, pumpkin seed oil in them. They're really, really light weight-wise, but they're going to add that shine and that hydration to your hair that you really, really want. So I definitely recommend kind of going and looking for serums, but also reading the ingredients to see what's in it. Also, if you're blonde, the Moroccan oil has a tendency to really, really discolor your hair. And I believe it's just because of the coloring they add to the product, just to make it that kind of Moroccan-y, oily color. Another question is, are you able to see the bonds? And you know what? This all depends on the person that installs it and how you style your hair. I personally like the bonded extensions just because the chances of people seeing the bonds and the ease of blending it in is so much better than the clip-ins. I used to, literally, I was so afraid it was going to be windy one day when I was wearing the clip-ins. They were just going to flip the back of my hair up and everyone was going to see and I was going to be exposed, and it was awful. But with the bonded hair extensions, especially the way that my lovely girl Rachel installs them, they're super easy to style and hide and like anything like that. And basically, as long as the person who's installing it knows what they're doing, you'll be able to style your hair any which way, part your hair any which way, and you'll be able to not see the bonds. So it's totally up to the placement, and worst case scenario, you get one that's like too far in the front or anything like that, and honestly, you can just take it out. Simple as that. Like if you find that you have something too far forward over here or anything like that, just take it out. Super easy. So another question is if you can reuse the hair. That all depends on the quality of hair that you bought and the shape of it when you are done with your installation of extensions. So usually people with keratin bonded extensions, they can go anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and when they're done, they take a little break get their hair colored, do what they need to do. And that's the time when you assess whether or not you need to buy new extensions, or you can reuse the ones that you have. In that event, what they would do is just, you'd take them out individually, or you would get them removed, and they would just take the strand of hair and just cut the keratin topping off of it, and just reuse that strand of hair for another installation. A good question is, can you dye the hair once it's in, or can you do a touch-up? So you are honestly better off not coloring the hair once it's in, and the reason I say that is because it's going to be super difficult to color, to get in between all the bonds, to avoid like removing the bonds of chemicals and things like that. You are just better off. Having said that, if you do need to root touch up or anything like that, the easiest way to do it is to mainly focus on kind of the crown of your head, things that are going to be exposed, and the lines here. So if you are getting keratin bonded extensions that are drastically different than your root color, you're going to have a hell of a time. So I recommend that if you are getting keratin bonded extensions and you know that you'll need a root touch up, I would definitely recommend taking that into consideration when you do placement, so it's easier to color what you need to color, what's being seen, and things like that. And just because it's going to make your life a lot harder if you need, say if you have blonde hair extensions and your hair is black, like it's just going to be harder to get in there and make sure that all the black and all your roots are covered up, and it's next to impossible to get everything once you have keratin bonded extensions in. What I've been doing now, because my hair is basically this level naturally, it's just not this ashy, is I've just been toning it with Manic Panic as it comes in, and all I do is Manic Panic and conditioner, and I just do around the front and kind of in this area where I would part my hair, so it's more or less like seamless, I guess. So I think that is most of the questions that I wanted to get answered in this video. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.